What if I told you that the next device sitting beneath your television could fundamentally change everything you thought you knew about home entertainment? And that Apple has been quietly working on something so ambitious, so carefully orchestrated, and so genuinely transformative that even many of the most dedicated tech insiders didn't fully grasp what was coming until the final pieces of the puzzle began falling into place just weeks ago. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, I'm going to reveal something about the Apple TV 4K 2025 that almost nobody is talking about yet. A single detail that could ultimately determine whether this device becomes the unquestioned centerpiece of your living room or just another sleek piece of hardware that ends up forgotten, quietly collecting dust on a shelf. And trust me when I say this, you do not want to miss the final verdict, because it reframes everything we think we know about what a streaming device is supposed to be. Picture this scene for a moment. It's a calm, quiet evening, the kind where the noise of the day finally fades away. The sun has dipped below the horizon, and a soft amber glow of twilight filters gently through your windows. You sink into your couch, shoulders relaxing as the stress of the day slowly lifts, and you reach for your remote. That familiar Siri remote, sleek, minimalist, almost weightless in your hand. But this isn't the Apple TV experience you remember from years past. This is something entirely different. The moment you press the power button, your television doesn't simply wake up to a static home screen or a grid of colorful app icons. Instead, it comes alive as part of an intelligent ecosystem that seems to understand what you want before you even consciously articulate it. The interface doesn't just load, it anticipates. Movie and show recommendations aren't generic suggestions, pulled from a shallow algorithm that treats you like a demographic category. They feel curated, intentional, and surprisingly personal, shaped by your habits, your tastes, even the subtle patterns in how and when you watch content. As you navigate through menus and apps, you begin to realize that everything feels faster, smoother, and more responsive than anything you've experienced before. Not just incrementally better, but fundamentally refined in a way that makes previous streaming devices suddenly feel dated. This is the promise of the Apple TV 4K 2025. And what I'm about to explain will show you exactly how Apple plans to deliver on that promise. But to understand where we are, we need to briefly look back at where we've been. Because for years there have been quiet whispers throughout the tech community about Apple's long-term vision for the Apple TV. Pricing rumors suggested Apple was weighing a more aggressive strategy, potentially lowering the entry price to compete directly with budget streaming sticks while also offering a more premium IUM configuration that could justify a higher cost. Some leakers claimed we'd see a base model around $129, while others hinted at more powerful versions pushing closer to $200. At the same time, speculation about Vision Pro integration painted a picture of a future where the Apple TV might act as a bridge between traditional television viewing and Apple's broader spatial computing ambitions. These ideas weren't just wild speculation. They were grounded in patent filings, supply chain reports, and the kind of insider chatter that has historically proven accurate when it comes to Apple. And now, those rumors are crystallizing into something real. The Apple TV 4K 2025 is confirmed to be powered by the A17 Pro chip, the same silicon that debuted in the iPhone 15 Pro lineup. And that single decision has ripple effects across every aspect of the device's capabilities. The A17 Pro isn't merely faster. It's significantly smarter, built on a cutting-edge 3nm process. It represents a massive leap in efficiency and performance, compared to the A15 Bionic found in the previous Apple TV 4K. We're talking about a 6-core CPU with 2 high-performance cores and 4 efficiency cores, a 6-core GPU with hardware-accelerated ray tracing, and crucially, a 16-core neural engine capable of processing up to 35 trillion operations per second. That neural engine figure isn't just there to impress spec sheet enthusiasts. It's the foundation upon which Apple Intelligence is built, and it's what allows the Apple TV 4K 2025 to move beyond being a passive content box into something far more proactive and intelligent. This is where the narrative truly shifts from evolution to revolution. Imagine sitting in that same living room, but instead of endlessly scrolling through rows of thumbnails, you simply say, "Find me something like that documentary I watched last month." But shorter and more uplifting. With Apple Intelligence integrated directly into the Apple TV, the device doesn't just scan titles or metadata. It understands context, tone, emotional intent, and narrative structure. The large language model processing happens locally on the A17 Pro chip, meaning your requests are handled instantly without the delay or privacy concerns of cloud-only processing. Your viewing habits stay private, processed on-device rather than uploaded to distant servers, which is a key part of Apple's philosophy as AI becomes more deeply embedded into our daily lives. Supporting all of this is a crucial but easily overlooked upgrade, the jump to 8 gigabytes of RAM. On paper, that might not sound groundbreaking, especially if you're used to modern smartphones. But in the context of a streaming device, it's a substantial investment in future-proofing. The previous Apple TV 4K shipped with just 4 gigabytes of RAM, which was enough for streaming and light gaming but created bottlenecks as apps and features grew more demanding. With 8 gigabytes, the Apple TV 4K 2025 can maintain larger caches, run more complex AI models, and finally deliver true multitasking. You can pause a game, check your front door camera, take a FaceTime call on your TV, and jump right back into your game exactly where you left off without a hint of slowdown. This kind of fluidity has always been part of Apple's promise, but until now the hardware simply couldn't fully support it. Connectivity is another area where Apple has quietly made a massive leap forward. The inclusion of Wi-Fi 7 may be the most underappreciated upgrade in the entire package. Wi-Fi 7 operates across multiple frequency bands simultaneously, offering dramatically reduced latency and improved reliability in congested environments, which matters far more in real-world use than raw speed numbers. If you've ever experienced buffering during a pivotal movie scene or lag during an online gaming session, you know how disruptive network limitations can be. Wi-Fi 7 addresses this through features like multi-link operation, essentially creating redundant data pathways so your stream stays smooth even when other devices in your home are competing for bandwidth. In modern households filled with smart devices and high-bandwidth content like 4K HDR with Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos, this upgrade isn't just convenient. It's essential. But Apple isn't stopping there. Reports suggest the Apple TV 4K 2025 also includes the N1 chip alongside the A17 Pro, a dedicated coprocessor focused on machine learning tasks. This allows the A17 Pro to handle graphics and general computing while the N1 quietly manages background intelligence, making Siri responses, content recognition, and smart home automations feel instant and effortless. This dual-chip strategy mirrors what Apple has done in other product categories and signals that the company views the Apple TV not as a simple accessory, but as a central hub for intelligent home computing. That vision becomes even clearer with one of the most surprising rumored additions, a built-in camera. After years of relying on external devices for FaceTime, the Apple TV 4K 2025 reportedly includes an integrated camera with center stage support, intelligently keeping you framed as you move around the room. Imagine sitting comfortably on your couch during a family video call. No awkward phone stands or huddled laptops, as the camera automatically adjusts when kids run into frame or a partner joins from the kitchen. This transforms the Apple TV from a purely consumption-focused device into a genuine communication hub, especially when paired with SharePlay features that enable synchronized viewing experiences across different locations. Gaming is another area where the Apple TV has long shown potential without fully delivering. But the 2025 model changes that equation in a meaningful way. The A17 Pro's GPU with hardware-accelerated ray tracing allows for realistic lighting, reflections, and shadows that simply weren't possible on previous Apple TV hardware. Games that once struggled to maintain stable frame rates can now run smoothly at higher resolutions. And developers finally have the headroom to create richer, more immersive experiences. Apple Arcade titles will benefit immediately. But even cloud gaming services gain from reduced latency and improved processing power. The neural engine can handle real-time upscaling, taking a 1080p stream and intelligently enhancing it to near 4K quality with minimal artifacts, making high-end gaming experiences feel more native than ever before. Vision Pro integration, long rumored and heavily speculated about, has also materialized in a more nuanced way than many expected. Rather than acting as a simple accessory, the Apple TV 4K 2025 functions as a spatial computing anchor point. When someone in the room is wearing Vision Pro and others are watching on the TV, the Apple TV synchronizes visuals and spatial audio so everyone feels part of the same experience. In some cases, it can even assist with rendering tasks, offloading computational work from the headset to the A17 Pro, hinty.